From a goalkeeper with multiple arms to Ter Stegen turning into Superman, these are the top 42 saves that shocked the world. And first, one of the most breathtaking saves you'll ever see. Agustín Marchesín went up to take a free kick and the ball was cleared. And suddenly, there was an empty net with Marchesín still upfield. The striker spots it, shoots, and Marchesín is sprinting back as if his life depends on it.
An offensive spark, and now here's the chipped effort. Could it find the back of the net? It's kept out.
His lungs burning, legs pumping, and he gets back just in time to somehow save it. Even Usain Bolt didn't run that fast. Genuinely incredible to witness. But speed is one thing. Pure reflexes that defy human biology are something completely different. With Tottenham desperate for an equalizer, Richarlison thought he had scammed his way into getting a goal, only for Raya to pull off a shocking reflex save.
Gets around Hincapié, and Raya keeps that one out. Just as it was trickling over the line, Richarlison denied.
But even ridiculous reflexes couldn't prepare you for what happens next.
No goal. How on earth?
With Bayern desperately looking for a goal, Joshua Kimmich thought he had scored the equalizer for the Bavarians, only for Sommer to pull off this incredible one-finger save.
Joshua Kimmich is taking a deflection. And did it go over the line? No goal, says the referee. It doesn't get much closer than that. How on earth did Sommer claw that off the line?
Damn, that's how fast I react when my phone slips from my hand, except I usually drop it anyway. But at least phone drops don't cost you a World Cup final. With a few seconds left in the 2022 World Cup final, France thought that they were about to win it, only for the most incredible thing to happen. Martinez spread himself impossibly wide and somehow saved it with his leg. Absolute madness. Absolute heroics.
Câmera exclusiva da Globo, nós estamos no começo. Ele simplesmente desabou. Não é só título.
But World Cup final heroics are nothing compared to what happened at the 2026 AFCON final. A few minutes into the second half of the 2026 AFCON final, Senegal's Iliman Ndiaye found himself one-on-one against the Moroccan goalkeeper. With the goal at his mercy, Ndiaye chose the perfect spot to play his shot. Technique flawless, only to be denied by an outstretched leg of the keeper who somehow read it. But what Ter Stegen did next broke the actual laws of physics. The Sevilla players thought that they had scored a brilliant goal against Barcelona, but Ter Stegen suspended himself mid-air to make this crazy save. Damn, I didn't know humans could fly, but I'm sure this next goalkeeper watched this and was like, I can do better. During the 2006 World Cup final between Italy and France, the Italians displayed a defensive masterclass to drag the French into extra time. With penalty shootouts fast approaching, the French pushed to try to get a winning goal. So when their best chance fell to the path of Zidane, they thought this was it, only for Buffon to pull off a miracle. For many, this was the save that won Italy the World Cup. But for the goalkeeper that comes next, this was child's play. With his defender horribly mistiming his pass, Gregory Coupé was about to concede the most embarrassing goal of his career. But instead of accepting his L, he did this. think he still stood up to make the follow-up save. This guy has better reflexes than a cat. But I bet the goalkeeper at number 34 saw this and was like, I can do better.
Sensational!
During a Premier League match between Liverpool and Man City, Haaland shocked the entire world by scoring a penalty that gave City an unexpected 2-1 lead at Anfield.
What are you made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice! City 2, Liverpool 1!
With seconds left to play, Liverpool thought McAllister's volley was the miracle they needed. But Donnarumma pulled off a save that left even Pep Guardiola in shock.
Haaland tries to head it away. Liverpool on the edge of the box. And a brilliant save by Donnarumma. Sensational.
While one incredible save is impressive, 3 saves in literally one sequence is the stuff of legends. Since signing for Atletico Madrid, Jan Oblak has been instrumental to Diego Simeone's harem ball tactics. In a match against Bayer Leverkusen, Oblak showed just how good he was by doing this. He blocked 1, 2, and 3 attempts to score, and somehow the ball still didn't enter the net. But what Ryan Cherky did next shouldn't have been televised. After a nice hold-up play from Erling Haaland, Ryan Cherky danced his way around the Tottenham defense for what would have been a goal of the season contender, only to be denied by a save of the season contender. But I assure you, what comes next has never happened anywhere in history. It happened in the English Championship. As the player ran to play the spot kick, the goalkeeper did this. This is just crazy. How on earth was he able to pull that off? But if you look closely, you'll see I'm just messing with you and having fun. Here's what actually happened in reality. He dived completely normally and saved it as a regular goalkeeper would. I can't lie though, this would have been absolutely legendary if it were real instead of edited. This is the real spot kick. But even penalty pranks couldn't break into our top 30, because still to come is a goalkeeper using glue to make a save, a defender nearly breaking his own back, and a legendary goalkeeper pulling off a stop that almost gave his coach a heart attack. Before we get to those, however, we have to see one of the best saves in Champions League history. In a match between Bayern Munich and Barcelona, Robert Lewandowski thought he had doubled his team's lead, only for Ter Stegen to pull off one of the craziest saves you'll ever see. That's not goalkeeping anymore, that's actual witchcraft and sorcery. But at least Ter Stegen is actually a goalkeeper. The next guy just chose to be a full-time hater. In an intense match between Liverpool and Man City, Salah thought he had finally gotten the chance to put the ball in the net. But as the ball was literally about to cross the line, Kyle Walker came sprinting out of absolutely nowhere like a madman and cleared it with his entire body. This guy has to be the biggest hater in football history. He was genuinely willing to break his back just to stop Salah from scoring that goal. For a guy who wasn't even the goalkeeper, that's genuinely insane commitment.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving! This is my home!
But defenders making desperate saves is one thing. Keepers making saves that look completely fake is another level entirely. During a match between Chelsea and Crystal Palace, a Palace corner played perfectly towards the far post caused complete chaos amongst the Chelsea defense. But just as Palace were about to score from point-blank range, Robert Sanchez pulled off a save that, quite frankly, looks unbelievable and almost impossible when you watch the replay.
So Chadi Riyad, and it's nodded in. Chris Richards.
The ball was going in from literally 2 yards out, and somehow he got strong enough hands on it to push it out. Sanchez gets clowned a lot on social media.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Are you serious right now?
But that save was genuinely world-class level. Speaking of world-class, the next save got a nod of approval from a legend of the game. James Maddison had just played the absolute perfect free kick over the wall, bending it beautifully around everyone, and was already running away to celebrate with his arms out. The ball was in. Everyone in the stadium knew it was in. Maddison absolutely knew it was in. Then, Aaron Ramsdale ruined absolutely everything by flying through the air like Superman to tip it over the bar.
لو استمر بهذه الكيفية والطريقة كرة بمحاولة ملعوبة.
No wonder legendary goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel tweeted, calling it the best save he'd seen in years. When Schmeichel compliments your keeping, you know you've genuinely done something special. But even Schmeichel's approval couldn't prepare you for the shocking save at number 26. If you've played FIFA on any console, then you know that a finessed shot from the edge of the box is practically unstoppable. But on this particular day, Barcelona goalkeeper Ter Stegen didn't care about any rules or video game mechanics. Isco received the ball at the edge of the Barcelona box and unleashed one of the most beautiful finessed shots you'll ever see in your life. Perfect technique, perfect placement, perfect everything. Then Ter Stegen spoiled absolutely everything by diving full stretch impossibly far to somehow tip it around the post. But even superhuman reflexes are nothing compared to a single save that won the World Cup. The 2010 World Cup final couldn't have been more intense or nerve-wracking. The vuvuzelas were definitely loud, and the game was tied at a boring 0-0. Both teams were absolutely desperate for one goal, and that opportunity fell to the Dutch in the 61st minute. Iker Casillas found himself one-on-one against an incredibly informed Arjen Robben. Robben had the ball, had the pace, had the perfect angle. This was basically a guaranteed goal that would win the Netherlands the World Cup. But what happened next shocked the entire world watching in their homes.
Played through for Robben. This is the chance. Arjen Robben is in. And Arjen Robben has been denied by Casillas. Great miss. Or wonderful
Despite
save.
diving to the wrong side initially and being completely beaten, Casillas somehow stuck out his leg at the last possible millisecond to deny Robben what should have been a certain goal. Robben couldn't believe what had just happened. Nobody watching could process it. And this save proved absolutely crucial to history because Spain went on to win the World Cup 1-0 in the final minutes of the match. But changing history is one thing. Defying the actual fabric of reality is completely different altogether.
This one might surprise you. See,
in a match against Shrewsbury Town, Stephen Payne had already dribbled past both the defender and the goalkeeper with a brilliant feint. Amos was on the ground, completely beaten, absolutely helpless, and Payne was literally about to roll the ball into an empty net, only for the goalkeeper to make an incredible save. Amos wasn't even looking at the ball or the player. His eyes were somewhere else completely, but somehow knew the exact precise right time to dive. But even superhuman reflexes couldn't stop what Liverpool faced in the 2022 Champions League final. Having lost the 2018 Champions League final to Real Madrid, Liverpool came into the 2022 final with revenge on their minds. They had arguably the best attack in all of Europe. Mohamed Salah was absolutely unstoppable. Sadio Mane was clinical, and this was supposed to be their year. But little did they know, they were about to face the greatest one-man wall to ever exist in a Champions League final. Liverpool kept attacking Real Madrid wave after wave, desperately trying to score any goal. But every time they attempted to score, Thibaut Courtois was standing there to stop them. Sadio Mane thought he'd finally scored when he unleashed an absolute thunderbolt from the edge of the box, only for Courtois to somehow get across impossibly fast and save it. Real Madrid went on to win the game 1-0, purely thanks to Courtois defying logic repeatedly. No wonder a meme of him having multiple hands like Doctor Strange went absolutely viral. But even Doctor Strange's level of powers couldn't match what Suarez did next with his hands. During the intense 2010 World Cup quarterfinal match between Uruguay and Ghana, the Ghanaians were hoping to reach the semi-finals of the tournament for the first time in their history. But when the last chance of the game fell to them in the final minute, Luis Suarez made an incredible double save on the goal line using both his hands.
What a finish to the match. We saw that ball and Suarez.
Blocked one header with his right hand, blocked the rebound with his left hand, got sent off immediately. Ghana got a penalty and then somehow missed it. Suarez became the most hated man in Ghana overnight.
I don't apologize about that because the Ghana player missed a penalty, not me. It's not my fault because I don't miss the penalty.
But a complete hero in Uruguay because sometimes being the villain is what wins you World Cup semifinals. But while Suarez's deliberate block made him hated across Africa, the next save turned someone into a hero. With the match between Everton and Sheffield United tied at 2-2, everything came down to one last corner kick. So when the corner was played, this happened.
Goes the corner.
Damn, not even the Red Cross could save like this. But now that we've made it to our top 20, you're about to witness balls getting pinned to posts like magnets, goalkeepers literally turning into breakdancers, and a referee who blocked a shot better than most professional keepers in the world. Before we get to those, we have to get the party started. During a game between Lech Poznan and Piast Gliwice in the Polish league, the Poznan players got a great scoring opportunity after a cross was whipped into the box. But after hitting a strong half volley, the goalkeeper did this. Damn, he pinned the ball in one place like his gloves had glue on them. This is by far the most bizarre save I've ever seen. Kind of reminds me of someone.
Hey, yo, what the?
Now it all makes sense. But even this guy couldn't pull off the save that comes next. The match between Everton and Newcastle was poised to be an exciting affair, mainly because both teams had contrasting fortunes. Newcastle was aiming to secure a Champions League spot, while Everton was battling to survive relegation. Newcastle struck first through a Callum Wilson goal, but the Evertonians showed heart by pulling one back, only to be cancelled by VAR. Newcastle then added a further 2 goals to effectively kill the game. While searching for a 4th goal, a clearance by the Everton defense found its way to Joe Willock, and this happened.
Good try, great save. Wonderful hit from Willock, and it's brilliant from Jordan Pickford to get a palm to it.
The control, the volley, and the save were all highlights in their own right. Speaking of robbing people of glory, the next keeper literally turned into a professional breakdancer. During the 2022-2023 Serie A season, Roma came up against Empoli, hoping to secure a victory that would help them push up the table. But as soon as the game started, the Roma players were shocked when Empoli's goalkeeper did this.
Pellegrini dentro, Luperto. Poi El Shaarawy di testa per Dybala, col sinistro poi Mancini, Vicario Abraham, confusione, arriva Smalling.
Wow, Vicario even turned into a breakdancer just to stop the ball from going in. But dancing is one thing. Adjusting your entire body mid-save is genuinely supernatural. When Bayern Munich went head-to-head with Leipzig, they weren't expecting their rivals to attack them with so much energy. However, for a team being sponsored by Red Bull, the Leipzig players understood the expectations of their club owners. In the second half of the game, Leipzig's Forsberg unleashed a rocket from a long way out. At first glance, it looked like a routine save for Neuer, but when it was replayed, it showed the ball changing direction at the very last second. Neuer, who had already moved to block the ball, had to adjust his movement to make an incredible save. But superhuman reactions are nothing compared to stopping Cristiano Ronaldo with literally one hand. In a Champions League match between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, a cross came to Cristiano Ronaldo in the 18-yard box. As Ronaldo unleashed a powerful shot, Neuer shocked the world with this one-handed save.
Able to turn on it in for Ronaldo, Neuer again!
Doing this against the legendary Cristiano Ronaldo is just cold, man. But even denying Ronaldo couldn't match the absolute audacity of our next goalkeeper. In a preseason friendly between Leicester City and Liverpool, a Leicester player's mistake gave Szoboszlai a free run at goal. Seeing that the goalkeeper was out of his box, he went for an audacious shot, only to be denied by a crazy save.
Dominic Szoboszlai's won the ball and he's gone for goal! And Hermansen just about keeps it out.
The dedication to make that save when the match has zero consequences is genuinely admirable. But at least that was actually a player making the save. The next one was a referee. The players of Cruz Azul in the Mexican League thought they were about to score a third goal. The ball was rolling toward an empty net. The easiest tap-in of all time, guaranteed. But the referee shocked everyone in the stadium by pulling off one of the best blocks you'll ever see in football. He positioned himself perfectly like a trained defender, read the play better than the actual defenders, and blocked it cleanly with good technique. You know football has peaked when referees defend better than Tottenham defenders. But beautiful defending is nothing compared to 41-year-old goalkeeping excellence.
The old stage yet.
When the Cristiano Ronaldo-led Juventus welcomed Bologna, everyone expected them to overwhelm their opponents easily. This assumption was proved right, as Ronaldo opened the scoring just a few minutes into the game. But in a show of defiance, Bologna equalized almost immediately.
The centre half with a shot! Oh, it's a stunner!
However, Juventus showed their class by retaking the lead.
Well, then given away, Ronaldo, Pjanic!
With no real action from both sides, it looked like the match would end with a Juve win. Then, with the last chance of the game, this happened.
In it goes the Morcellini. It's there to be attacked too. It's off the bar from Santander. Goodness me. He's there again and Buffon makes the save. The old stage yet.
Making that save at 41 years old, Buffon absolutely deserves all his flowers as one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. Age is genuinely just a number when you're that talented. But legendary Italian keepers are one thing. Spanish keepers doing the impossible is a completely different level. In a heated match between Sporting and Porto, the game's last chance fell to a Sporting team desperate for an equalizer. So with one final corner kick, Iker Casillas did the impossible. Damn, bro almost gave the Sporting coach a heart attack. But heart attacks are nothing compared to the absolute emotional roller coaster coming next. It was the semi-final of the 2025 Champions League, Inter versus Barcelona. And at first, Lautaro got the party started. But despite being 2 goals down, Barcelona weren't going down without a fight, and they scored not once, not twice, but 3 times to turn the game around. Then, with a few seconds left, Inter got the equalizer and scored a 4th in extra time. But with the last play of the match, Yamal thought he had scored Barca's 4th, only for the goalkeeper to pull off an insane save. And now that we've made it to our top 10, you're about to witness saves that literally won World Cups. A goalkeeper sprinting the entire length of the pitch in seconds, and one keeper who took his gloves off before a penalty and still saved it anyway. Before we get to those, however, we have to see one of the best saves in La Liga history. In a matchup between Sevilla and Real Madrid, Pepe scored to level the game at 1-1. While his goal was important, it was the goalkeeper who had the most legendary moment of the night.
Run from Navarro. The substitute should be a second. Oh, Casillas performs a second miracle save.
That save right there deserves to be in actual museums for future generations. But museum-worthy saves are nothing compared to breaking Brazilian hearts on the world stage. In the 2018 World Cup match between Belgium and Brazil, the Belgians were on the brink of getting a shocking victory against a team they were expected to lose against. But with a few seconds of play remaining, the ball was laid perfectly for Neymar, who couldn't believe how Courtois blocked his shot. While Courtois was a hero for his country, the next keeper showed why he was named the best goalkeeper in the world. After taking an early lead against Brentford, Chelsea came under absolutely relentless pressure from the Bees, who were desperate to get an equalizer and grab a valuable point from Stamford Bridge. However, Edward Mendy kept blocking attempt after attempt, save after save, desperately keeping Chelsea's slender lead intact. But with virtually the last kick of the match, Brentford got one more dangerous chance, and it looked like they'd finally broken through, only for Mendy to spoil the party. Sometimes one save in the 95th minute is worth 3 points. But 3 points are nothing compared to stopping one ball with 2 balls. In a match between Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle striker Dwight Gale thought he was about to give his team the lead. But Tottenham goalkeeper Hugo Lloris said, "Nah, not on my balls." What? Sorry, I meant watch. Speaking of goalkeepers putting their bodies on the line, in the Premier League match between Liverpool and Chelsea, Mo Salah saw that Chelsea keeper Edward Mendy was off his line, so he tried to lob him from a distance, only for Mendy to do this. But even flying keepers couldn't match our next goalkeeper, who turned into Usain Bolt. Manchester derbies have always been filled with drama, passion, and absolute chaos. 2 teams from the same city giving absolutely everything for bragging rights. But nothing could have prepared the fans for what was about to happen in this absolutely insane 2008 derby. Manchester City were desperate for a late equalizer and sent literally every single player, including the goalkeeper Joe Hart, up to attack a corner. But as the corner was defended well, Manchester United suddenly found themselves with an empty Manchester City goalpost to shoot at from their own half. But in a crazy turn of events, Joe Hart turned into Usain Bolt. 1 second, ran the entire length of the pitch just to make this shocking save.
Giggs has got Rooney up to his left, two defenders back, and Hart has got there, but Rooney has gone for it! Oh my goodness,
But even Olympic sprints are nothing compared to superhuman reflexes. During a match between Aston Villa and Arsenal, Villa mounted serious pressure trying to get an early goal and break Arsenal's spirit completely. Little did they know, they were coming face to face with the Catman.
Rodgers, good ball in, opportunity, shot takes a deflection, it's the crossbar, the rebound, what a save!
At this rate, David Raya could save my failing relationship. Genuinely world-class goalkeeping. But world-class is one thing. The greatest of all time is a completely different ballgame altogether. Manuel Neuer is arguably the greatest goalkeeper of all time. This man has made some amazing saves in his career, but this one he did against Italy is simply breathtaking. Imagine you're an Italian fan watching your country losing 3-0 to the Germans. Then, out of nothing, an almost certain goal falls to your player, and the opposition goalkeeper does this. This is just madness. He had no right to stop that ball, and to think Germany was already 3-0 up. Talk about a guy that stands on business. But standing on business is one thing. Taking your gloves off is genuinely insane. After playing an entertaining 2-2 draw in normal time, the quarterfinal match between England and Portugal at Euro 2004 came down to a penalty shootout. After the teams exchanged successful penalties back and forth, the Portugal goalkeeper, Ricardo, told the referee he wanted to remove his gloves before the next penalty. This didn't make any sense to anyone watching. Gloves are literally designed to help keepers stop balls, but Ricardo's plan worked when he saved the penalty with his bare hands.
Gloves for this penalty, and Terrell's denied. It's worked.
To make matters even more insane, Ricardo stood up and scored the winning penalty himself that sent Portugal through to the semifinals.
Now, what a story this will be! The goalkeeper saved and scored and won the game.
That's genuinely one of the most legendary goalkeeper performances in tournament history. But even legendary tournament performances couldn't match the most iconic save ever recorded. In what was supposed to be an inconsequential friendly match between England and Colombia, René Higuita single-handedly turned it into an unforgettable memory. Renowned for his crazy and high-risk style of goalkeeping, he was simply a joy to watch for the neutrals. Not even Octopus Paul could have predicted what happened next. As a harmless cross came into the box from an England attack, Higuita decided to do this instead.
Redknapp. Goodness me, have you ever seen anything like that in your life?
He created what is known today as the Scorpion Kick, a move so iconic that the streets will genuinely never forget it. That's why it's the greatest save that shocked the world. Not because it saved a game or won a trophy, but because one man decided that normal wasn't good enough and created something beautiful that will live forever. But as shocking as these saves were, they're nothing compared to Benzema missing 2 penalties in one match.
Up steps, Benzema saved it. He saves it again.
A keeper doing yoga routines, and Neymar inventing a penalty technique that FIFA had to ban permanently. And first up, a penalty that was voted as one of the best goals of the 2024 La Liga season.
Momento de inflexión en el partido y yo creo que en la temporada. Ocampos, dominado el tío. Goal!
Damn, bro really scored and celebrated a penalty without even looking. He might be Lisan Al-Gaib.
Listen, Al-Gaib.
But even such divine confidence is nothing compared to the goalkeeper who humiliated himself at number 24.
Wat een wedstrijd.
In a match between PSV and Heracles, Jis Hornkamp straight up made the keeper shit himself before coolly slotting the ball in the opposite direction.
Heel rustig. Hij fopt de doelman van PSV.
He even got his rivals complaining about how humiliating that penalty was. You genuinely cannot make this sport up. But what Amad Diallo did at number 23 shouldn't have been shown on live TV. With the entire world watching, Manchester United's Amad Diallo chose the perfect opportunity to show everyone just how cold he really is.
Like Bruno.
Unique run-up from Ahmad, that's for certain. Oh, he gets it. He anchors it. I mean, that's the cheekiest of all the cheeky guys.
Yeah, you could tell he just wanted to humiliate that goalkeeper. But at number 22, the football gods personally intervened to teach someone a lesson in humility. This player hits the crossbar, and before the ball has even decided what it wants to do next, the goalkeeper is already sprinting toward him to laugh in their face. Unfortunately, karma struck back instantly as the ball bounced back into an empty net. Yeah, the football gods do have a great sense of humor, but even Divine Comedy couldn't prepare you for the heartbreak that comes next. After 50 years of waiting for an AFCON title, the hopes of Moroccans came down to one final spot kick. Brahim Diaz versus Mendy. But instead of blasting the ball into a corner, Diaz broke Moroccan hearts by doing the unthinkable.
The card is out. Well, he didn't true as you would imagine. The first time. Certainly not wishing him good luck, that's for sure. It's Diaz, and he dinks it straight at Mendy. Penalty. Absolutely woeful.
Damn, getting humiliated while trying to aura farm is one of the worst things that can happen to anyone. But none of that chaos and heartbreak could crack our top 20, because from here on, these penalties stop being funny and start becoming genuinely legendary. I'm talking about a goalkeeper dancing, Onana embarrassing himself, and one of the worst misses you'll ever see. Before we get to those, however, we have to see Neymar ruining a goalkeeper's career. I know penalties are serious business, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of fun sometimes. When Neymar was about to take this penalty, he asked the keeper to choose which corner he wanted it played.
Ah là, vous avez vu le geste de désolation de Lucas Pira qui vient.
Pointing to his right, the keeper chose to dive in the opposite direction. The keeper literally chose his own fate and still got it wrong. And at number 19, a goalkeeper tried the exact same thing and somehow ended up in an even worse situation. You would think goalkeepers would have a group chat where they warn each other about the consequences of starting mind games they aren't equipped to finish. This one clearly wasn't in that group chat. Damn, I would have thrown hands if a player did me dirty like this. You can't just stand there and accept such humiliation like a parking ticket. At number 18, however, Memphis Depay tried to be cool in a Brazilian derby, only to be humbled unexpectedly. Corinthians versus Palmeiras, one of the most intense derbies in South American football, and Memphis Depay steps up to the spot, radiating the energy of a man who has scored 1,000 of these and will score 1,000 more. He begins his run-up with complete confidence and then slips. Not a little stumble you can recover from with dignity. A full slip that sends the ball absolutely nowhere near the goal while the keeper watches from a safe distance. Yeah, you have to feel bad for him at this point. But at number 17, a goalkeeper used his eyes as a weapon. When Mason Holgate was about to take his penalty, the goalkeeper gave him a death stare. It was so intense that you could see Holgate's confidence physically leaving his body. His run-up gets slower, his shoulders drop, and then he kicks the ball straight at the goalkeeper. I genuinely cannot tell you whether that goalkeeper practiced some form of dark energy or just had really good eyes. But whatever it was, it needs to be studied by scientists immediately. But at number 16, a goalkeeper's celebration came back to destroy him in the most satisfying way imaginable. Yassine Bono dives the right way and saves Haaland's penalty. But Bono didn't just celebrate, he sprinted after Haaland, screaming as if he just won a trophy. And then VAR said, encroachment, retake. The stadium went quiet. Bono had to walk back to his line in complete silence, carrying the full weight of what his mouth had just gotten him into. Haaland placed the ball on the spot, looked at him, and played it to the exact same side with the same power and the same result. Then walked directly to Bono and gave him every single thing back with interest. But at number 15, Andre Onana tried to be entertaining during a penalty shootout, and Fabio Vieira had absolutely no patience for the performance. The preseason friendly between Arsenal and Manchester United went to a mandatory penalty shootout, despite Arsenal winning 2-1 on the night. Andre Onana, who was in the mood for some fun, decided to mess with Arsenal's Fabio Vieira. As the Arsenal player prepared to take his spot kick, Onana moved to his right while pointing to his left. Vieira, who was in no mood for games, sent Onana to the dry cleaners with his spot kick. But just when you thought you'd seen it all, the most unhinged goalkeeper in the world showed up, and somehow it worked. Australia versus Peru, a World Cup spot on the line. Every kick worth a lifetime of either glory or regret. And substitute goalkeeper Andrew Redmayne decided that this was the perfect moment to completely abandon his sanity.
It's all on this for Peru. Alex Valera. Makes the save. It's a save that means the...
Before the penalty, he was doing full interpretive dance routines on his line. Arms going everywhere, hips swinging, legs kicking in directions that have no business existing in a high-stakes football match. The man looked like he was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars at the most important moment of Australian football history. And when the decisive penalty came, the Peruvian player was so thoroughly confused by whatever Redmayne was doing that he missed completely. You can laugh. You should laugh. But it worked, and that is the most terrifying sentence in this entire video. But at number 13, Paul Pogba turned his penalty run-up into a masterclass in psychological torture. Under 20 World Cup, France versus Uruguay, and Paul Pogba steps up to take his penalty, moving at a pace that can only be described as a man who has nowhere to be and nothing to prove.
Nonchalant run-up, which he looks like he's doing again here. Diamores waits. Pogba strikes it into the bottom corner.
This felt like a leisurely stroll through a Sunday market. No urgency, no tension. The goalkeeper had been crouched and ready and primed for about 45 seconds by the time Pogba arrived at the ball. By the time he played the ball, the goalkeeper had already given up. But at number 12, Sergio Ramos tried something audacious, and what followed was genuinely disgraceful to witness. In the UEFA Nations League match between Switzerland and Spain, the Spaniards desperately needed a goal, and that opportunity came when they were given a penalty. Sergio Ramos, who had scored his last 25 penalties in a row, stepped up to take it and missed.
The man of the moment, the milestone maker for Spain, is denied.
Somehow, Spain got a second penalty. You would think one miss from 25 would inspire some humility, but Ramos decides this moment calls for a panenka.
His Spain debut, the European record holder this time, and he's fluffed his second spot kick.
Unfortunately, Sommer had already studied him, so he pretends to dive, stops, and watches Ramos's chip drift gently into his gloves at roughly the speed of a balloon on a calm day. But the next goalkeeper literally asked to be humiliated, and the penalty taker somehow chose not to oblige. Porto versus Maritimo. And before Telles takes the penalty, the opposition goalkeeper says out loud, "Come on, you're a big player, chip me." He is sincerely requesting to be disrespected. He is extending a formal written invitation to be embarrassed in front of thousands of people. But Telles missed the opportunity to do the most insane thing ever. Or maybe he didn't believe he was a big player. But now that we've made it to our top 10, it's time to take things to a whole new level. I'm talking about the greatest panenka in history. Zlatan embarrassing a goalkeeper, and the legendary beef between Maine and Salah. Before we get to those, however, Onana is back with another gimmick at number 10.
Of something really special.
He writes his own rules.
Andre Onana had clearly decided that his shuffling goalkeeper gimmick was his gift to the sport, and he was going to keep giving it regardless of who was standing on the penalty spot. So when Erling Haaland stepped up, Onana launched into the full routine.
Oh my God.
Haaland tilted his head slightly and then sent the ball the opposite way, without acknowledging that any of what Onana was doing had registered in his brain at all.
Onana saying, you know what, play at that side. That's the way you're going to have to go because I'm standing here. Erling Haaland against Onana. No problem.
The look on Haaland's face afterwards wasn't angry or amused or satisfied. It was just genuinely confused. Like he was still trying to work out what he just witnessed and whether it required any further thought.
I did it, so it's unbelievable.
At number 9, however, a player completely broke a goalkeeper's entire operating system. As this player made his run up to take the penalty, everyone expected him to blast the ball into one of the corners. Instead, he completely deceived the goalkeeper by kicking it with his other leg. But while this player messed with this goalkeeper's confidence, the next goalkeeper took comedy to a whole new level. Joselu is about to take a penalty, and Ter Stegen decides to perform what can only be described as a full stretching and mobility routine on his goal line. Joselu watched all of this with patience and sent the ball straight down the middle. I genuinely hope his flexibility improved because his dignity certainly didn't survive the afternoon. At number 7, however, Van Dijk was handed a trap, recognized it immediately, and used it to destroy the man who set it. Kepa thought he had hacked a cheat code in saving penalties. He moved to the right-hand side of the goalpost in a bid to trick Van Dijk into playing the ball to his left. But Van Dijk showed him he was smarter by playing the ball right where he was standing.
Centre half, Virgil van Dijk to take the next. And Van Dijk left nothing to chance.
Well, for a game that was 0-0 after 2 hours of football,
Speaking of goalkeepers standing, Andrea Pirlo introduced Joe Hart to the concept that confidence without wisdom is just noise. Euro 2012, England versus Italy, and Joe Hart was in the form of his life, and he absolutely knew it. As Andrea Pirlo stood over the ball, Hart was practically vibrating with energy, tongue out, arms waving, bouncing across his line, making as much noise and movement as one human being is physically capable of generating. Pirlo watched all of this, let Hart finish his entire performance, and then chipped the ball into the dead center of the goal in the most ice-cold panenka you will ever see in your life.
He misses, this country will be taken. Jiggling up and down on the line. This is Pirlo. Oh, how cheeky is that? The float.
Do you want salt with that chip, Joe? And now that we've reached the top 5, the penalties aren't just humiliating anymore. These are moments that changed football history, rewrote rule books, and settled rivalries. Starting with the penalty style so devastatingly effective that FIFA had to sit in a room and formally make it illegal.
Hey yo, what the I'm gonna lose my shit!
When Neymar was coming through at Santos, he was already operating on a different frequency to every other footballer on the planet. And during that period, he developed a penalty technique that was frankly unfair to everyone involved. He would approach the ball normally and then pause mid-strike in a way that forced the goalkeeper to commit before the ball moved. And once the keeper committed, it was already over. 5 consecutive penalties, 5 goals, 5 different goalkeepers. Same result every single time. The videos went viral and eventually reached the people at FIFA, who watched them, convened a meeting, reviewed the technique, and put it to a vote to ban it for life. At number 4, however, a goalkeeper chose to mess with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Wrong move. Inter Milan versus AC Milan derby, and Julio Cesar is absolutely fired up because Ibrahimovic is stepping up to take a penalty. So Cesar does something remarkably bold and walks straight up to Zlatan and tells him to his face, "I know where you're going. You're playing it down the middle," doing the full psychological warfare routine, trying to get into the big man's head.
Swinging for Inter Milan.
It's a massive moment in a war of words, mind games from Julio Cesar.
Well, these guys hate each other. Inter and AC.
Zlatan listens to all of this, doesn't react, doesn't blink, doesn't smile, just stares forward, places the ball, steps back, runs up, and plays it straight down the middle. Then turns to Cesar and says, "Speak now, you clown."
This in the Milan derby, Ibrahimovic, no doubt about it. 27 goals in Serie A and none.
But either way, it's just positive. There's that little cachicazo, the slap that Zlatan loves to give everyone.
But where Cesar failed with his antics, Emi Martinez pulled off a psychological masterclass. Copa America semifinal, Argentina versus Colombia. It goes to penalties, and Emiliano Martinez decides this shootout is his personal stage, and Yerry Mina is his opening act. The moment Mina picks up the ball, Martinez is already in his face, talking trash until Mina misses. I genuinely cannot decide who talks more, Martinez during a penalty shootout or my girlfriend when I've done something wrong and she's walking me through exactly why. The energy is identical. But at number 2, Salah chose the biggest stage to snitch on his teammate. The 2021 AFCON final between Egypt and Senegal was expected to be insane. Mane versus Salah, 2 African giants going head-to-head. 5 minutes into the match, Egypt conceded a penalty. As Sadio Mane prepared to take his spot kick, his Liverpool teammate Mo Salah walked up to his goalkeeper and told him where Mane would play it.
Obviously, we
Upset by this move, Maine also tried to mess with the keeper by pointing in the same direction. But the Egyptian goalkeeper was already locked in.
A much bigger penalty now. And it is Senegal who missed the opportunity and a wonderful save from Abu Gaba.
However, Maine wasn't about to let his teammate get one over him. So when the match went to a penalty shootout, he stepped up and blasted in the last spot kick that won Senegal the trophy.
Now, Salah can't bear to watch. Mane! Senegal are African champions!
But now, it's time for the most humiliating penalty kick in history. The 2021-22 season, and Karim Benzema is on another planet. He's destroying every team in Europe. He's hunting down the Ballon d'Or. He is arguably the best player in the world, and Real Madrid are the most feared club on the continent. Then they travel to Osasuna, not Barcelona, not Bayern Munich, Osasuna. And their goalkeeper decides today is the day he becomes a legend. 51st minute, Benzema steps up. The keeper points left, then dives right to save it.
Up steps Benzema, and he saved it! He saves it again. So, Osasuna...
Fine, these things happen even to the greatest players. You regroup, you move on, you let your teammates handle the next one. Except 7 minutes later, Real Madrid get another penalty, and Benzema steps up again. The same goalkeeper reads him again, saves it again. In the same match, 7 minutes apart.
He is right. Up steps Benzema, saved it! He saves it again. So, Osasuna stay just one goal behind Real Madrid.
As a result, Benzema became the first player to miss 2 penalties in a single La Liga match since 2006. And it wasn't against a Champions League giant or a derby rival. It was one goalkeeper on one ordinary afternoon who simply decided that the best player in the world was not scoring past him today. And that is why it is the most humiliating penalty moment in football history. But as humiliating as these penalty moments were, they are absolutely nothing compared to what some of these players are putting on their plates. Click on the next video to find out what football players really eat, because some of these meals are honestly more shocking than anything you just watched.